intriguing. And, you know, what happens at the time of death, when we die, our mind separates from our body. It moves to its next existence, taking on another form, another life. And I mean, you know, it's somewhat logical. And it's pretty much the closest definition to what Christianity would refer to as a soul. You know, refining and developing our minds is the most worthwhile thing that a human being can do, because ultimately it's really all we have that's gonna you know, that's going to help us. You know, we can have all the money and wealth in the world, but at the time of death, it's not going to help us. You know, we're going to be hurled. And no matter what we accumulate besides spiritual wealth, that's the only thing in knowledge that's going to help us, really. So I think the rest of it, you know, and that we've really gotten caught off in a lot of delusion. But, you know, but, you know, we're the authors of our own life, past, present, and futures. Genetics, illness, it's all karma. It's all karma. You choose your parents through karma. Genetics and inheritance are like everything else, controlled by the law of cause and effect. You know, so
well,
it's like
it's hard to understand. It's hard to understand how to get along with everybody, and then, you know, as an individual that was in my life, and then now she's gone, and you know, I'd like to just tell myself that she's just passed on to another dimension and to another universe or another place in space. But how do you console somebody? Because I never know what to say. We all say we're sorry for your loss, because I guess that's politically correct. But, you know, I mean, we're supposed to be helping people coming back here, and I know I did, and I've died in this lifetime 3 or 4 times. And some of my friends, I don't know how to speak even about reincarnation to a lot of my friends that are doctors that want to believe, but, you know, I don't know how to make them understand unless you're speaking neuro-linguistic programming maybe. I don't know. Or you've got to talk philosophy, but I've heard doctors say it's up to God. And about my daughter, because they didn't know how long she had, and it was terrible to watch her die, grueling painfully, because she had a brain bleed and her hemorrhaged after throwing up. And, you know, she already had only like 5% of, not even that, she had 0 or 1% or something, but there's 5% of something and like 1% something else. So, you know, she wasn't making red cells or white cells or plasma, and so it was very hard on her anyway for years. So anyway, it's hard to, in my brain, I don't know which phone is ringing. How many phones do I have? I hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4 in my lap. I have way too many friends. Janet's calling. That's odd. Let me tell her. But we're on the show right now, Janet, so I don't know if she can hear me, but go ahead on how do we make, you know, my first sentence here, I guess you can't see it, is what do you say to a friend who has lost a loved one? Now, that's my first question you can't see how I've written this up, right? So can you help me with that? Think of a good way to help people.
No, really, and this is, but I am not going to make up a lie, okay? This is the truth. And when I say it, you'll know it to I trust you'll know it to be truth as well. Number 1, impermanence. There is no getting around the fact that none of us are going to be here permanently. None of us. As a matter of fact, the law, as soon as we're born, time's getting short already, okay? Now, as far as someone like your young daughter leaving, she came and she paid her karma in this place called samsara, and she exhausted her karma in this lifetime. She was done. She didn't have to pay anymore. Now, she caught the time, and was able to not have to come back to the wheel if she chose not. And maybe she wants to come back to help people who had the same disease in her past life. She might come back as a nurse, but that's how that thing works, is that we're every incarnation we're journeying. It's a destiny, each and every one of us, and it's like we're trying to. It's like we're finally a perpetual rest in peace, each and every one of us. It's like what I call the seed of Buddha nature, and it's awakened mind. And we have to do all these lifetimes to eliminate karma and to achieve, achieve that and eliminate our delusions, and that are like clouds anyway. They just covered our ways of enlightened thinking and behavior, and so it's a way of learning, and I really feel that the way to really, you have, in my deepest heart of hearts, as one who suffers a great deal physically, I have to say rejoice, as hard as it is to see a young person go. They're not in pain anymore. And now they're in total freedom. They're bouncing around the universe. And she could bounce around and have fun for a while, And then maybe one of your other daughters will get pregnant or son, and then she comes back in some way. Maybe you might even get a kitty, or, she might, the bodhisattvas, once they gain that knowledge, they'll take an existence as anything to be of service. And if she feels her mother needs her, she'll come back to you in some way. And that's what I would say to anyone. Yeah. And in the meantime, I'm sure that, and I know that you see her in everything, in the sunset, in a rainbow, and when it's raining, you hear her, and everything. It's so weird, isn't it? When someone dies, suddenly they're so omniscient.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Everything reminds you of them, and you go through tears of waves of feeling. My sister about died. Her sister, my sister Brenda Thomas was my very best friend growing up, and she was only like 3.5 years younger. She was born in October 1854, and I was born 12/26/51. But her daughter left the earth quite a few years ago, and she was much, much younger than mine. She didn't even have her babies. They tried to store her eggs, and her husband since got married again and stuff. But it was really, she was beautiful, young. She was a beauty queen for Texas. It's Brenda C. Thomas, and her daughter was just absolutely, she was the apple of her eye, and just such a beautiful soul, and inside and out. And so it was so hard, and Brenda just about died, but she lost a lot of weight. She lost her teeth, and it was really hard on her other kids. She had basically a nervous breakdown. She was a nurse and ran a big company, and for hospitals and stuff. Her husband works for state of Texas in forensics lab, and it was so hard on them. I mean, just a beautiful girl. So we miss her, and it's not the same for her. She'll never. It's like part of her. We're not Buddhists, so we were raised Christian, but in her mind's eye,
sure,
we all, in her faith, we all go to another place in space, and we'll all be there. So we all, with our pets, we say we cross the Rainbow Bridge, and but with us, we say we'll all meet again. And a lot of us believe a part of us goes to a place, and I feel like there's a part of me up there, an oversoul, and a part of me that sends down something. And Tommy and I may or may not agree, and you may not, but we ought to talk about that, because we come down, but surely all of us doesn't come down. There's got to be sparks or pieces, and some Egyptians, some of the gods or deities back then used to talk about they'd break themselves apart, and then you have many people that believe they're reincarnated as different people, but they only have a shard, or like taking a mirror and breaking it in one life, and it shatters. And people either were with them or in the family or connected, but everybody can't be Cleopatra or Isis or Caesar or Ta. Or
I find that quite amusing.
Yeah. So how do we do that? Because if we do come back, we can all be. But some of us do believe that, even Buddhists. Some have past life memories, like you were talking about. Some. And I don't understand them putting themselves in fire, but you may want to explain that too, because I don't understand. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's almost like a martyrdom, but you can explain that.
You
mean
but
some of the
about Terran? Oh yeah.
I guess because I know about some who go to the mountain too and shrink in 13 years or whatever, how many years it is, and they shrink real little, and go into another life, I guess. But yeah, go ahead and talk about what you call it and what does that mean to the to the world?
That's some interesting stuff, I tell you. Yeah, they actually even wall themselves up while they're still alive to die.
Ooh.
And but that's not the Tibetan Buddhas. That's some really
India?
offshoot Malaysian sect. Yeah. It was
you
really
think that's
weird.
why Chinese had such a problem? I don't know why the Chinese come over and took over the land and stuff, and Tommy and I have had in 7 years 2 or 3 deep conversations. So you can take any one topic, especially that type of stuff that we don't really understand in the world religions. But you know what I'm talking, the Buddhism. And so you're saying that that's like an extreme, because every religion, world religion, I guess, has extreme. We talk about the Muslims and giving their lives because they're fighting for the Quran or the cause or whatever. So these people that do that, they're giving up their life. Do you think they come back? How do they? You don't know how they explain that, do you?
Those guys are so freaking high. I think that they don't come back, because you got to be really, really, just already in commune with, the other side, and they just probably don't ever come back. You know what I mean? To this earth.
So they're finished with their karma, and they feel
but
they don't have. They get off the wheel. They're off the wheel.
Maybe no. Well, maybe yes, maybe no, because you see, these guys are Theravada Buddhists, and the Theravadins are more like the Thai monks, and Vietnamese guys, and they believe in enlightenment only for yourself. It's Hinayana. They're into the Hinayana, and that's enlightenment only for yourself. And so we, the Mahayana, while we don't degrade or think that that's a lesser vehicle, we feel that enlightenment is no good if it's just for you. You know what I mean?
Right. It's self-serving versus service to others, I guess. And it just is maybe another strain, or maybe an extreme group gets together and supports each other, or a little area of the planet or something like that. And universally, once you've died and been on the other side, I just feel like I was connected. I could feel a difference when I passed. and went through the stars and went back and had all these memories come in me. And, you know, each time was different. But I did get to go to a higher level, which shocked me. At one time, I only believed in